I always thought life was something you could design, like a blueprint. At 30, I was proud of mine. A cozy apartment in Gomel. Fresh paint the color of baked milk, new furniture, oak parquet that had cost me half a year's salary. When the morning sun touched it, the whole room glowed. It wasn't just an apartment. It was my castle, my independence, my adult life finally beginning. But fairy tales end quickly. Layoffs came at the design studio where I worked. My name was on the list. Within months, the bank contract that once felt like freedom began strangling me. Bills stacked up. Cafes, delivery food, pretty dresses gone. Even basic groceries became a calculation. The thought I dreaded came like an axe blow. I'd have to rent a room. My refuge, my private world, invaded. That's when my cousin Marina called from Minsk. There's someone, a professor from Siberia. He's here for a year of treatment. Quiet, polite, won't cause you trouble. He's perfect. 2 weeks later, I stood by the door, heart pounding, waiting. He arrived exactly on time. Tall, straight-backed, his hands huge and knotted, veins like rivers of a long life. 70, maybe older. He carried the cold of his homeland in his coat and the calm of decades in his voice. "Thank you for having me," he said, deep and steady. The first weeks passed in silence. He lived by strict routine, early mornings, quiet breakfasts, evenings with books. His presence filled the apartment even when we didn't speak. The sound of his steps in the hallway, the shadow across the wall, his large hands turning pages. I couldn't help but notice them. Strong, steady, hands that had known both labor and wisdom. One afternoon, I came home early. I slipped into a silk robe and passed the living room. He was sitting on the couch, sunlight across his face. For a moment, he looked years younger. He nodded at me without looking away from his book. I paused, pretending to check my phone, but really I was watching him. That's how it began. A strange pull, respect mixed with curiosity, a ritual I couldn't stop. Then came that morning. Steam spilling from the bathroom door left ajar. Without meaning to, I glanced inside. He stood under the shower, body still strong, carved like stone despite his years. My breath caught. My cheeks flushed. I shut the door quickly, but the image had burned into me, impossible to erase. From that day, everything changed. His footsteps in the hall, his shadow on the wall, they no longer felt ordinary. They were fire. My silk robe, once just comfort, became an invitation. I wanted him to notice me. The game turned dangerous. I left the bathroom door slightly open, steam curling into the hallway, my movements slow and deliberate. I felt his presence, a creak on the floorboard. He was there, watching. I didn't move. I wanted him to. When I finally emerged, his shadow slipped away into his room. Later, on the sofa, our eyes met. He said nothing, but something had changed. The silence between us was no longer empty, it was charged. And then it happened. In the kitchen, his hand brushed mine. Too long, too intentional, I didn't pull away, neither did he. Our gazes locked. He whispered, low and steady, "You shouldn't leave the bathroom door open." My heart stopped. "It was an accident," I lied. "It didn't seem like it," he replied. The air between us vibrated. That night, I couldn't sleep. I felt his touch still burning on my skin. Soon, the first kiss came, unhurried, inevitable. Not lust, but something deeper. It destroyed the walls I had built around myself. The apartment, once only mine, became ours. Every hallway, every corner carried our secret. But secrets don't stay hidden forever. Whispers spread. Family began asking questions. My mother's voice on the phone was sharp as glass. "You're 30, he's 75, what are you doing?" At Sunday dinner, with my sister smirking and my brother scoffing, my mother demanded, "What will people say?" He reached for my hand across the table, calm as always. "She isn't with a 75-year-old man, she's with me." For the first time, I answered with a steady voice. I'd rather suffer for my own choices than live a life that isn't mine. The silence was crushing, but when we walked out, I felt strangely free. I thought we had won. Until one evening, as he sat in his armchair, calm as always, his cup slipped from his trembling hand and shattered on the floor. His body sagged, his strength vanished in an instant. I rushed to him, shouting his name.